All right, good evening, everyone. We are live. Just give me one quick second to organize my papers here real quick. Perfect. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 13th, 2024 special joint meeting of the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee and Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee. I'm Councilman Hernandez, and I am chair of the Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee. This meeting is broadcasting live on HPA-TV's Xfinity Government Channel 96 and Frontier Government Channel 6032. It will also be streamed via hpa-tv.org, the HPA-TV Facebook page, and HPA-TV Apple TV, Amazon TV, and Roku TV apps. It will also be made available on the HPA-TV YouTube channel. I would like to acknowledge some of my OMBGA voting members present here today. And because it's a joint committee meeting, we have shared council person. So I'm going to announce Assistant Majority Leader TJ Clark as a member of the OMBGA committee, and also Council President Shirley Surgeon as OMBGA committee member as well. I would like to introduce now my joint committee chair for this evening, Kelly Bilodeau.
Good evening, everyone. I'm chair of the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee. Tonight, I have with me voting members, Councilman Gale and Council President Surgeon. We have one item on the agenda tonight for this special meeting. That item is a resolution from Mayor Avulampalam to grant permission to Good Works Entertainment Group LLC to hold a Rain or Shine festival in the park on a weekend in late June of 2025 and in late June during the 4 subsequent summers under an agreement with the City of Hartford. Tonight, I know we have a couple of speakers here that will be speaking to this item. Our first speaker, I'm not sure if I see him on. Julian, are you with us?
I do not see Julian Friend here with us.
I do not either. We can start with Tyler Grill. If you'd like to introduce yourself from Good Works and share some information with us. You have the floor.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. And thank you, Councilwoman Bilodeau and Councilman Hernandez for having me. I've been promoting concerts now for 20 years. In 2019, Good Works Entertainment purchased Infinity Hall, Hartford, which became our company headquarters. Since we have produced over 500 concerts in the city, supported by an incredible team. 80% of my team lives locally in Hartford, so we're Hartford based and mostly Hartford staffed. Post-COVID, we partnered with the City of Hartford to launch Hartford Live, a free outdoor concert series. And the purpose of that series was kind of to reactivate the city, bring people back into the city post-COVID, and just get people back into downtown, going to the restaurants and all those great things. And it worked out really well. We've had about 2,000 to 3,000 people in attendance per week. And 2025 will mark our 4th season. So it's been a huge success and it's still going. Through Hartford Live, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with multiple city offices and divisions, parks, health, police, both Hartford and Capitol, fire events, and of course the mayor's office. And through these relationships, we just, we became close with everybody and worked well with everybody. And the idea of Capitol Groove came to fruition. And year one was a big success in a lot of ways. We learned a lot of things. At this point, we're just very excited. This is incredibly important to us, and we're honored to enter into an agreement with the city to grow a festival for the city of Hartford. So many of the comments that we got from fans that attended were, we've never been to Hartford and what an amazing city it was. The hotels are great. The parking is great. The park is beautiful. So just so much positivity came from year one, and we look forward to building upon that success and also improving upon our learnings from year one. Additionally, we look forward to working closely with the Bushnell Conservancy and targeting key park projects, which the festival can help to finance throughout the years, whether that be improvements or new things the park may want to bring in. We look forward to working with them closely on ways to improve and preserve the park. We've seen success in a lot of cities where there's a city private and public partnership with festivals all over the country. Austin City Limits, Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo, you name it. These cities have just been impacted in a great way economically and culturally through these types of festivals. And it's not just about activating the park. Our goal is to activate restaurants, bars, hotels, coffee shops, street corners, whatever we can do throughout the week leading up to the festival and during the festival in an effort to really drive traffic, awareness, and the economy for Hartford through this festival. So it's not just about the 2 days. It's about, really building a full city immersive experience. And so anyways, thank you again for having me. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything that anybody has.
Thank you very much, Tyler. I think what we'll do is we will go to the next presenter, and then at the end of the presentations, we can take questions for either of them, and then we'll proceed with the meeting from there. So our next presenter will be Julian Freund. Hi, Julian. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well, thank you. Good afternoon, Committee Chair Bilodeau and Committee Chair Hernandez and all of the members of both committees. I will give you just a brief overview of the framework of the agreement and the resolution. So the resolution before you would give permission to Good Works to hold the Capitol Groove Festival at Bushnell for the next 5 years. And it would authorize the mayor to enter into a detailed agreement with Good Works for the operation of the festival. This is, as Tyler just described, this follows the 2-day festival that was held in the park in June. And he gave you a lot of background on his entity and their history with the city. The resolution itself outlines the framework of a future agreement with the city that would to hold the event over the summers of 2025 through 2029. In the detailed agreement, which is still to be negotiated, the major provisions in that future agreement are outlined here. And they include that Good Works would make one upfront payment of a license fee of $62,500 to the city, and that would cover all 5 years of the festival. There's a ticket sales revenue sharing schedule, and that schedule is outlined in some detail in the resolution. What the city's share per ticket varies based on the total number of tickets sold, and that would yield up to a total of $86,000 per festival. In this arrangement, Good Works would continue to pay for the billable city services that we typically charge event managers and event producers. So these are the services that we provide for events through the police department, fire, public works, and they would also continue to pay for their permit fees. And then within the agreement, still to be negotiated, but the agreement would then provide further detail on the number of bands that would perform each day, other attractions and entertainment at the festival, where in the park the festival would be held, requirements for restoring the park to its previous condition, any details related to food and beverage sales or alcoholic beverages, and then the arrangements for security, emergency and public safety services and other city services. And then, of course, all the requirements for permits and approvals. The term of the agreement would be for 5 years with an option to renew for an additional 5-year term. And then again, we mentioned a couple of times already, if approved, the mayor and corporation council will then proceed to negotiate a full agreement. So that's the essence of the resolution. I don't know if this point, either Chris Hayes or Tyler might have more to add, or we could take questions from the committee members.
Thank you, Julian. I'm sorry that I didn't include that you're the director of management, budget, grants, and revenue. I apologize about that. Thank you for your presentation. I believe the Director of Public Works, Chris Hayes, would just be here answering questions tonight and not presenting. So, Chris, is that accurate? Thank you. Okay, so do we have any discussion or questions from any committee members at this time?
Madam Chair, I do have a question here.
Okay, you have the floor, Councilman.
On one of the statements here, it speaks to Good Works to arrange for security, EMT, police. The word arrange, can you, I don't know if it's Tyler, can you clarify what arrange means? Is that you're gonna be just like any other festival, you know, carrying the cost of those additional resources that are needed?
Yes, that is correct.
So this would not be an additional cost to the city for those officers or fire department or DPW employees that are going to be working on the festival, or whatever the role will be, will not be an additional cost to the city. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Perfect.
Thank
you. I think that's I'm gonna hold off on the other question. And I see that Council President Sherry Surgeon also would like to ask a question. So Council President, the floor is yours.
So sorry. Thank you, guys, so very much for holding the special committee meeting. My question is for either the Good Works gentleman or for the Public Works Director regarding the upkeep and whatever is needed after the festival to be you know, where people are going to be walking. So to make sure that the grass, everything is actually maintained for the following year. Can someone address that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Tyler, if you'd like to say something, go ahead. I can speak after.
No, it's okay.
Council President, what we saw this year was that Good Works came in and fulfilled their contract and their obligations by hydro seeding. And then when the hydro seed wouldn't take in time for the Jazz Festival, they went one step further and sodded critical areas. That did not cause any additional expenses to DPW, as Good Works paid for all the work and used subcontractors to do the work. DPW had a very positive experience with Good Works last year in the restoration. I believe that what we did see is a bit of a learning curve, a new festival in a new location with a large rain event. And with any rain event, regardless of the special event, there will be turf damage. And we knew that had been the case. Tyler and his team were very responsive in conducting the repairs. There at no point was DPW chasing down the event promoter to do the work that was required in the contract. I think if we ended up in a similar situation in 2020, in next year in 2025, we would end up with some adjustments around scheduling and timing. But I think Tyler now has a great team around him when it comes to restoration of the park. I would also note that they went one step further than most of the events that occur at Bushnell Park, where they were protecting the critical root systems of the trees by blocking off trees at 1 foot per inch caliper of the tree size. So a 12-inch diameter tree received a 12-foot area of protection around it.
Thank you for explaining, because I have no clue what you're talking about, but that makes sense now. I apologize. You know, we had a public comment last night, and one of the things I would like Tyler to address is the time the park is blocked off and what he intends to do. Because what I'm hearing is that, you know, it was the first time we learned a lot, and we always make ourselves better from all the things we learn. So the next event will be much better. So can Mr. Tyler address the area that's going to be blocked off? How is he going to do it? And all that. Those were the concerns from some of the comments from public comment.
Yes, absolutely. Council President, I'm happy to address that. So we started the build on the Monday of the same week as the festival. The festival took place on Saturday and Sunday. The build started on Monday. The only thing that went in on Monday was field protection, so that when we started to bring in trucks and other gear, that there was some protection. Obviously, it didn't work out as great as we wanted, and we have other plans for that. But to your fencing question, the fencing started to go up on Tuesday. And it was finished by Thursday. The park remained open in its entirety to the public until the Friday, the day before the festival. So I think that was the 28th, and the festival was the 29th and the 30th. And the fencing was removed on July 1st. It was on the Monday following the festival. So the fencing was up for, what is that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? 7 days. But all the gates remained open until the Friday right before the festival. And so, you know, the park in its entirety was only closed for 3 days. And I understand it's a public park and all those things, and that's important. But that is why we strategically only used the west side of the park. And we did not fence in the playground or the carousel or the pond area or anything like that, so that the public could enjoy all those amenities that the park has to offer. So what we would do better this year, because there's certainly always things we can improve upon and plan on doing that annually, is that I will do a much better job putting signage around the perimeter of the fencing to direct people to where those openings in the fencing are, so that people aren't thinking that, oh, it's closed, we can't go in. We will make sure that there is signage letting everybody know park's open, come on in, you know, and we'll have arrows and signage to where people can get in and out on the many egresses that do and did exist.
Okay, that's great. I know sometimes we do something the first time, we learn and to make ourselves better. One of the other issues I thought that came up also is donation to the conservatory. Now, you did have the first concert this year, or the first festival this year. Could you tell us, how you were able to give back to the Bushnell Conservatory so they may continue having funds to maintain the park?
Yes, absolutely. So our deal with the Conservancy was that we were going to donate $2 per ticket sold. And so that was a total of $10,800 in 2024. We made a $15,000 donation to the Conservancy, which was above what was contractually owed, but we felt that was the right number, and we felt that that was a good number for year one. One of our sponsors also donated $5,000 to the Conservancy. So between Good Works Entertainment and one of our sponsors, that was a $20,000 donation in year one. Going forward, I would love the opportunity to meet with the Conservancy, which I have not yet done. I've was in touch regularly with Naisha, who was great to work with, but I did not have the opportunity to meet many of the other board members. And the plan is to meet with them and to understand what their park project goals are and the ways that we can help fund them. But that would be, something that would need to be, met about, and we'd love to be able to achieve specific goals, whether that be improvements to already, infrastructure that already exists, or whether that be, additions to the park that does not exist, that do not currently exist.
Okay, thank you. So I think that kind of clarifies a lot to me of all the comments I've heard, regarding this proposal. Thank you. Cheers. I'll hold my other questions and give another council person a chance to ask theirs.
Thank you. Before we go to our next council person, I failed to introduce our corporate counsel staff. We have attorney Emily Holland here with us. We also have attorney Daniel Combs. Along with her is also attorney Jim Del Visco. So I just wanted to introduce three corporate counsel attorneys that are here with us tonight, since I failed to do that. And Tyler, I'm happy to hear that you are planning to have conversations with the Conservancy moving forward. I'll ask a question about that in a minute. But in the meantime, please, Assistant Majority Leader Clark, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity to speak, and thank you, Madam Chairwoman Bilodeau, as well, for convening this meeting. Good evening, Tyler. I just had a question. Well, to piggyback off of the council president regarding wayfinding signs, because we did hear a lot from the community regarding not being able to navigate through the park. Was in reference to the number of ticket sales as far as donations that you provided to the Conservancy, for those Hartford residents that would like to attend but may not be able to afford it, and I don't know what the ticket sales were for this most recent event. Would there be a opportunity for Hartford residents to purchase tickets at a discounted rate?
That's a great question. And we did have I think it was about a $35 or $40 per day discount for Hartford residents. They just had to go to the Infinity Hall box office, which is located right on 32 Front Street, and just show their ID. And that's, just all things being fair, we just want to make sure that, hey, you're actually a resident of Hartford. And anybody who lived in Hartford was able to secure that discount. And we will be doing that, every year going forward. And that was not a limited number of tickets. So that was as many residents would like to attend, we were happy to discount. And there was also no cutoff time. So all the way up until the day of the festival, you could purchase at that discounted rate.
Thank you for that information. And can you walk me through the area again where it will be, I would say, sectioned off for future concerts?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess the easiest way to explain it is that let's just call it the front yard of the state capitol. The portion of the field that's directly in front of the state capitol. And it goes, so if you're standing at the state capitol looking down towards the fountain, from the edge of basically Trinity, which is our food court area, that's the only area that the fire marshals will allow food to be served. So from that street to basically the train tracks are where the festival exists. And we did pay for and hire Capitol Police to use the Capitol parking lot at the state capitol. So we use the state capitol parking lot as well.
Okay, thank you for that. That gives me a little bit more clear understanding as to the layout. Do you foresee within this pending contractual period, you outgrowing the space at Bushnell Park and moving towards another location in Hartford?
Our intention is to continue to stay within Bushnell Park. This is not about growing some giant festival. This is the goal is for this to be more of a boutique community festival. It's very important for us to make sure that the bathrooms are clean and there's not tons of lines to get there, and that there's plenty of access to free water, and that the lines to food are reasonable. People are paying to go to this event, and they deserve a very high quality experience. And so it's our intention to keep this very comfortable within this park. We do one other event that's similar to this, and we're now in our 27th year, and it's in a very small town that only has about 8,000 people. And the reason I bring that up is that we've never changed location. It's really important for us to stay committed to the city and the location that we grow these festivals. And our goal is to hopefully that Hartford really loves this, and that they want it, and that the conversations isn't about should we have it or should we not have it. It's, I hope the conversation becomes, I hope this never goes away. This is part of the fabric of our community. And with that, I think managing comfortable size and capacity is very important to that.
Thank you again. And my last question is, do you have a gauge as to how many folks from around, maybe it's around the state, around the region, come to this event? Like where's the farthest that they will come, if you have the information?
Yeah, so over 65% of the people attendees came from Connecticut, and most of which came from about a 40-mile radius of Hartford. We definitely brought in a lot of folks that it was their first time in Hartford as well, which it was fantastic. If you kind of read some of our social feedback, there is a number of comments, and I mean a lot of them, that say, I've never been to Hartford. What a great city, incredible hotels, parking's close by, park is beautiful, Hartford's super clean. They just had endlessly nice things to say about the city. So as much as we want it to be, obviously for the people of this area, it certainly doesn't hurt to have all of this awareness.
No, I'm on the phone. Mhm. Oops.
Yeah. Council President, you are on mute.
Oh, am I on mute? Okay, I'm mute. Did I?
No, you're still, there you go. Thank you. My apologies, Tyler. Did you finish your statement or?
Yeah. We most 65+% are coming from Connecticut, or a Springfield, or the general area, right, of let's say Hartford, is where most people are coming from. But we did have purchasers, legitimate trackable purchases from 30 different states in the country. So we did have we definitely had a lot of people coming in from out of state as well. It was just a much smaller portion of folks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
No, say thank you, Mr. Chair. You back my time.
I'd like to also acknowledge voting members, Councilman Josh Micton and Councilwoman Mari Rosado, who joined us at this point.
Hello.
So Councilman Mixon and Councilwoman Rosado, we are at the point where we are asking questions about to either Good Works or to the Budget and Management Department, Julian Fran, or DPW Director Chris Hayes. So if any of you have any questions, this will be a great time to do so.
I do, and I'll start by apologizing if I'm asking something that already came out, because I'm sorry I had to join a little late. But just like, what's the ballpark ticket price?
The ticket price for single day ranges from 75 to 120.
And again, sorry if you all talked about this already. What could there be some discount tickets for Hartford residents? I think that's important.
Yes, there was discounted tickets last year with no limit for anybody in Hartford, and it was, I think it was like I should know this, but it was about $35 to $40 a ticket, and you just have to show up to Infinity Hall on 32 Front Street and just show an ID, and happy to sell tickets. And that discount was available all the way up until the doors open both days. And we'll continue to do that for forever. That won't ever change. We'll always have a discount.
And thank you. And then I guess my last question is probably more for DPW, but I guess it's related. I know the resolution says, that the park will be returned to the state it was in, or something worse to that effect. Does that mean, what does that mean in terms of for DPW, like to make sure that the grass isn't all trampled and it's not all muddy? Like what gets done to make sure that, the next weekend folks can go back to just enjoying the park as it was?
Sure, and it was briefly discussed before, but we've had a number of people hop on the meeting since then. So I apologize for those. I'm repeating myself too. But generally speaking, we had a very positive interaction and situation with Good Works this past year. Tyler and his team hydro-seeded areas that had been damaged when the hydro-seed was not going to work with the timing of upcoming events. They came back and sodded the areas. the DPW Parks Division and my office had no issues getting in contact with Tyler. His team was proactive. We both agree that there are adjustments that need to be made, but we've also seen historically that whenever a large festival happens, whether it is one that is free to the public or has a ticket price, that if it does rain, there is inevitably some amount of damage. With this particular event, this past season, DPW did not have to take on any additional expenses or additional work to restore the park. So we were very pleased with that. And then I had also noted that Good Works went a step beyond what most of our other events have done in the past by the means of tree protection. For every inch of diameter of tree, they protected the critical root zone by a foot. So the example was if it's a 12-inch diameter tree, there was a 12-foot ring around the tree to protect the critical root zone.
Thank you, and sorry to ask for the repetition. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman Midstone. Council President Surgeon.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. One last question regarding from the comments from our public comment time yesterday was the consultation and working with the conservatory. I'm not sure who can answer that and who will be heading that up to make sure that they are kept abreast of what's going on and feel that they're involved in making sure that the park is restored and is okay.
From a DPW standpoint, that communication occurs between Mark Dowd, the park superintendent, and Naisha McCauley regularly already. I wouldn't see that relationship change in any way, and certainly any concerns or complaints would be voiced through that avenue. That's the same avenue that is taken when any event after any event that has occurred in the park already.
Okay, thank you. I think, as I said, just want to address all those concerns that was made to us and making sure that, everyone is aware of those and working. There is so many different park groups. There are so many different people within our city that loves our parks and are, volunteer, and want to just make sure that they are, at the table, that they can voice their, concerns and, not even approval, but have someone to speak with. So if that's you, that'll be great.
Yeah, DPW will continue to take that on.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Before I pass the floor to Madam Chair Bilodeau, are there any other questions? I think that Council President Surgeon asked all the questions that we had on our list based on the public comments from last night. So thank you, President Surgeon, for taking the lead on that. Are there any other questions from any of the committee members before Councilwoman Madam Chair Bilodeau takes the floor? Any other questions? Anybody?
Councilman Hernandez, if I could, just one more.
Go ahead.
And again, sorry if this has already come up, but I know there was, after the initial resolution was put on the agenda, there was amendments circulated about addition, which I think Councilwoman Surgeon just referred to. One about letting the Bushnell Park Conservancy consult, but also there was a contribution to that. Has that been moved as an amendment? Are we talking about that? Did I miss that? Forgive me.
No, not an official motion to make an amendment to this resolution has not been made, and it was not in the plans to do so. However, Tyler from Good Works have already addressed in all of those areas or potential, concerns. And he has already addressed every single one of them through, question and answer that we've had throughout this meeting.
Let me just
Mr.
ask.
Chair, can I
Sorry, go
just
ahead.
add also? Can I just also add what you saw me send out, Councilman, is recommendation from the Bushnell Conservatory of things they would like to see addressed. So that was their after meeting with them, that was their recommendation. And speaking to Mr. Griggs, that those concerns they have regarding donation back to the conservatory, and also being consulting with the group is been addressed.
So just so I understand, and I won't belabor the matter anymore. Does that
Sure.
mean that there is going to be, in addition to the contribution to the city, a contribution to the Bushnell Park Conservancy?
Yes, what was articulated earlier, and what has happened with the first festival, donations were made to the conservatory in the amount of about 20,000. And going forward, the conservatory will be meeting, or should be, or working with Good Works for future agreement for donation. No, I'm not. Whoops.
Okay. Councilman Mission, does that address your concerns? Okay. I will assume that is the case. Councilman Mission, are you good?
Yes, sorry, I'm just picking up my daughter, so I was transitioning into the car, and the car
Okay,
Bluetooth
well,
almost set.
And then I'm sorry also. I'm in my car. I apologize for any disturbance I've caused. I really apologize.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I'll let Councilman Bilodeau take the floor at this point.
Okay, I have a few questions, but I see Councilman Gale's hand up, so I'd like to give him the floor.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
that's fine. Actually, I have more of a comment than questions. So why don't you go ahead and ask your questions, Chair?
Well, I would say comments and questions. Thank you, Councilman Gale. So, we've talked about a lot of different parks issues and covered all those questions. We haven't talked about trash. How clean will the park look after this event, say, Monday, when everything is over, or even Sunday night?
Everything was completely clean, by Sunday night. There was a few things, of course, the next day that you find, because you're in the dark, right, at that point. So, but everything, we had a waste management company that came in and was cleaning the entire time. We brought in our own waste, you know, you know, uh, drawing a blank of the word, but the big waste receptacles that we, the dumpsters essentially, for a lack of a better word, we had all that. So it was a lot cleaner than it was when we got there.
Very good. And you covered all those costs. Your organization covered those costs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we covered all the costs. Yeah, everything that there was, we paid for. Yep.
Very good. And I have to ask, what made you choose Bushnell Park? Because I think it's kind of an honor, right, that you're choosing this historical park to have this festival. And so I'll give you the opportunity to answer that.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, the history, and it's just an absolutely stunning park. Our venue is I'd call it a 10th of a mile down the street. I'm not that great with distance, but it's very, very close. And when we first started talking about locations for Hartford Live, Bushnell was one of the first locations that came up. And at that time, it was felt that Hartford Live needed to be more central downtown. Again, even though it's a tenth of a mile down the street, it would be kind of less obvious that something was going on. Whereas at the old State House and State House Square, it's, oh, wow, there's this, really big kind of concert happening. And that was what was going to attract the businesses, travelers, et cetera, when they got out of work to then come and attend, and just people walking to the bus station and stops like that as well. So when, we had the success of Hartford Live and the old State House and State House Square, it was like, oh, well, this has been great, and working with the city's been great, and working with the Capitol Police has been great, and everything else. Why don't we go try and activate the park that we were originally wanting to activate with Hartford Live with a larger scale event? So that's
Very good. So do you see this over the next 5 years as becoming a destination event where we would see some increase in tourism for Hartford?
Oh, absolutely. I think a substantial amount. I think that there's, right now it's, it's local because it's brand new. People don't have this in their calendar yet. They don't have this market. So that's why it's very important. Just like Jazz Fest and all these other events, right? Like you really want to be very close to the same weekend every year so that people can mark their calendars and save the date, and just know every year that, regardless, we're saving that weekend to come to Hartford because there's going to be this great event. And so, yeah, tourism will be a major component of this.
Very good. And lastly, as many people love parks and love contributing back to the parks, do you see any opportunity to offer maybe a donation opportunity with the sale of a ticket for the Bushnell Park Conservancy, let's say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I need to sit down with the Conservancy and kind of figure out, right? It is, what that looks like. This year, our deal was a per ticket deal, but we ended up donating, almost $10,000 more than was contracted. So, to me, I think it's kind of a larger conversation about what their goals are, and I think it's a really great idea to target park projects and to help finance them. And I think that the per ticket thing is just really one mechanism. I think that the sponsors that sponsor us are all very interested in making contributions to the Conservancy. There's lots of other things. There's when certain ticket comps are made, a lot of festivals will say, okay, sure, you're comped to the festival, but you have to make a donation to the Conservancy and things like that. So there's a lot of ways to raise money for the Conservancy. I just think we have to be able to sit down and really talk about what that looks like and how to make it as robust as possible. I would love to get to the point where the Conservancy was bringing in, six figures as the thing grows, to benefit. And I think it's a lot bigger conversation than just like one mechanism. I think there's a lot of different things that go into achieving those kind of results.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your commitment to the city. Thank you for your time today and your presentation. And thank you to Julian and Chris both for contributing to the conversation with your presentation and answers to the questions. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair?
Yep.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I have John
Okay.
Councilman Gale up next. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll get back to you. I was just.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
folks.
ma'am.
Sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Gale.
Yeah, Madam Chair, take her question because mine's more comments. So go ahead, take her question.
Okay, go ahead, Council President.
Thank you. Comment from or question from someone who's listening to our committee, and want to talk about the revenues that's coming into the city. for it to be used for cultural and entertainment, for all the culture and entertainment throughout the city. Could someone address that?
I think that Councilwoman Bilodeau have the answer to that in queue. So we will address that in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the.
Councilman Gale, go ahead.
Oh, okay, thanks. I've been listening to the presentation, and as Tyler was speaking and talking about making this event somewhat of a boutique event, I'm reflecting on events that I've participated in over the last so many years, one of which is held in a state park in Rhode Island. It's held every Labor Day. I've been going to it on and off for 25 years, and I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, as Tyler's talking, this sounds so much like Rhythm and Roots. And then I take the opportunity to hit my my phone real quick, and I see, son of a gun, Good Works is indeed the same outfit that's been putting on Rhythm and Roots for these past 20, 25 years. Rhythm and Roots is an event that it's been going on for quite some time, but it's contained itself as that event, and so I was very pleased to hear him compare what's going on in Bushnell Park to the Rhythm and Roots festival that's been held Labor Day weekend for God knows how long. I also wanted to comment that I went to Capitol Groove last year. I was there on Saturday as a patron, had my ticket, and I've been going to events at Bushnell Park for 50 years. I must say, I don't recall ever seeing a better run event held in Bushnell Park. I never saw so many well-marked trash cans. There were porta sands everywhere you looked. Everything was clean. Even late at night, there was nothing that was dirty. The maintenance, the signage, there was a very consistent look to everything. It was incredibly well organized. So from a participant's point of view, I was very impressed at the way they put this on. You just don't. I hadn't seen it before. I'm very pleased. I was very proud, of Hartford that day being there. The last comment I would make is what was sort of brought up earlier. The ability to have Capitol Groove be attached to Hartford is sort of this becomes somewhat of a signature for Hartford. Is something that is very intriguing for me. I think it's great for the city. I would love to see that that happen. So everything I've heard so far sounds pretty good to me. And I don't know if it's an appropriate time, but I'd be happy, if there's no other questions, I'd be happy to put a motion forward at this time.
Thank you, Councilman Gale. I'm actually going to propose a friendly amendment, and I think this will speak to Council President Surgeon's question. And then if there's a question about this, maybe Julian can answer it. The proposed amendment is resolved that.
Why don't I put a motion forward and then you move to amend the?
Certainly.
That'd be the way to do it?
Absolutely, sure. Go ahead, Councilman Gale.
So I'll move to send the existing resolution back to council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Okay. And I will make a motion to.
I'm so sorry. Just to clarify, for which committee are we making this motion? Just because we are having two simultaneous committee meetings, we just need to clarify which.
From the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So in that case, the second can come from an OMB.
Right, point of order, I can't second it. I'm on OMBGA.
Okay,
Second.
so the original motion was on the item. Councilman Gale is on both committees, so can somebody from O and B second the original motion?
I second it.
I'm sorry, I believe, just to clarify, we need to do two separate motions for
Sure.
the two separate committees, just because we just need to make sure everyone is on the proper committees in the
Sure.
motion.
So, Chair Hernandez, would you like to can we rescind that motion and start over again?
Let's start over. So let me provide some guidance on how we're gonna do this. John Gale, you're gonna make a motion, and then either Chairman Bilodeau or Councilwoman Surgeon can second it from the Parks Committee. Then
It's getting fixed.
Josh Mictom or Assistant Majority Leader Clark or Mali could make a motion on the OMB side, and then the other one can second it. And then let's just be done with that first motion. So Councilman Gale from the Park side, can you make a motion?
Yes, I move to send the resolution back to council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Okay. Now somebody from the OMB, please.
I'd like to make a motion
Oh, go
to
ahead,
send
sorry.
this back favorably to council.
I second it.
Thank you. So now
Attorney Combs, just want to make sure that's proper.
Yes, I believe that's proper, and so long as you can go about it in the vote, one of two ways. You could either, each of the chairs respectively can call the question to a vote eventually when it's time, and then you could do a roll call, or with the people that are on your respective committees, or you can, have a vote only of the members of the committees present here today. But
Now-
it has to be, the committees have to be separate votes.
Okay, but if I now propose an amendment, does the OMB side have to also propose that amendment? How does that part work? I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Absolutely. So with respect to the amendment, because Councilwoman Bilodeau, you are only on the Public Works side, that would only stem from the Public Works recommendation. If that's what you would choose to do, is go forward on the friendly amendment. So then if you would like that same amendment to be stated from the OMBGA side, then that would have to come from the OMGBA side. So it would have to be two separate motions for the amendment.
Okay, so I will make a motion to amend the resolution by adding a resolve clause. The resolve clause would read, resolved that a culture, arts, and entertainment fund is created and that ticket revenue funds shall be deposited in the cultural, arts, and entertainment fund for the purpose of promoting, operating, and supporting cultural, arts, and entertainment events.
I second that.
I will also make a motion from the OMB side.
Mr. Chair,
No, go ahead.
a point of order. I think it might be more appropriate if we
Take a vote.
take a vote on this
Yes.
first,
Yes.
discussion one first, and assuming it passes in this form, we could then take it up in the other committee.
Okay, so let's now take a step back again. We're
Yep.
gonna take a vote on the first motion made by Councilman Gale from the Park side.
And I think I have to do that. I have to do that because it's my committee. Sorry about that.
Yes.
We'll go- Okay, so a motion has been made and seconded to amend the resolution.
No,
Do we have any discussion on that amendment?
One question, Madam Chair.
What?
Having made that amendment, is this something that's been discussed with administration at all?
It has been,
Yes.
yes, and offered.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Thank you.
So, Madam
Council
Chair,
President, any
Madam Chair-
questions?
Madam Chair, before you continue, I think that Attorney Combs meant that we take a vote on the first motion, not the amendment, on the first motion to send this back to council favorably first, and after that vote, then we take a vote on the motion of the amendment. Is that correct, Attorney Combs?
No.
No.
I believe that
No.
now that
No.
there is, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Mm.
I believe that now there has been a motion. I'm sorry, I'm just saying now that there has been a motion for an amendment, we can take a vote on the amendment, and then that amendment has to be voted on.
As amended. correct?
And then once the amendment
Yeah.
moves forward, then you can send it back favorably with the amendment.
With the amendment. And we're taking a vote on that secondary motion to send it favorably with amendment. So that's the second one. Okay. So we have a motion for amendment with that's been properly seconded. Do we have any discussion on the motion to amend the item? On the public works side?
Okay.
Only.
Okay. So I guess I'm going to speak from the public works side. I think. All right. Through you, Madam Chair. Great amendment. I will certainly support the amendment. And I also want to say that, I know, we have some great assets in our city. Our public parks is one of our great assets, something to be proud of. After COVID, we certainly, I've really appreciated the green outdoors. But one of the things this festival, I believe, is an added asset to the city, our hotel or restaurants, our bars, everything, also, will be benefiting from this, this festival coming to Hartford. So that's the only discussion statement I would like to make, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Council President. So again, the motion has been made and properly seconded on the amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Now we will make a second motion to send the item.
You have the motion.
You already have the motion.
You already have the motion. It's amended. We just.
Sorry. We're gonna now vote on the motion to send the item back to the full council favorably with a favorable recommendation as amended. Do we have a second on that?
We did.
Seconded, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Yes.
so all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Now I pass it back over to Chair Hernandez.
Okay, so let's make a mess of this again now. So a motion has been made and properly second to amend the resolution. Is that correct, Attorney Combs?
Sorry, Chair Milcar, I apologize, Chair Hernandez. I believe you hadn't at this moment recognized Councilman Gale as a voting member yet for your particular committee.
Okay,
I assume you want to do so before the vote takes place.
Sure, I recognize Councilman Gale as a voting member of the OMBGA committee, and I will also recognize Council President Surgeon as an OMBGA voting member as well.
And Mr. Chair, you already have a motion to send it back favorably, but I don't believe you have a motion to amend. So I will make a motion to amend consistent with the amendment that was just passed in the Public Works Committee.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and properly second. Any discussions? Okay. Should I take a vote on the amendment now?
Yes.
So, for the OMBGA committee members, motion has been made and properly second. I see no discussions. Those in favor of amending this resolution, say aye.
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 Okay. The resolution to the motion to amend the resolution passed. Now, do I take a vote on the motion to send this back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have to make a motion again or not?
No.
No,
Oh,
you have
okay.
to.
Hey, I might as well ask because, so now a motion has been made and properly second to send this back to council with a favorable recommendation.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you, Councilwoman Rosado. Do we have any questions, any comments? Okay, seeing none. Those in favor of sending this back to council with a favorable recommendation as amended, say aye.
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 Okay, so motion has been made, motion passed to send this back to council with a favorable recommendation. Okay, seeing that now, I believe we have finished all of our business. Councilwoman Bilodeau, are you good to?
I think I'm very much in agreement that we have no other business and that as chairs, we agree to adjourn this meeting. And thank you for everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Everybody
you.
have a
Good
great
night.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.